Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the aftermath of our Colosseum water-only run. Even with Cipher conquered and their boss fully hydrated, there's still more to do in the Ori region and more battles to be had. Our goal is simply to go gather the rest of the shadow Pokemon. This was one of the first goals I set when this series started, and besides the ones we haven't seen yet, we only missed two, which is Tyranitar and yeah, sorry Makahita. By the way, technically this one might have not counted as a fail because the challenge didn't start yet because we didn't have any water Pokemon. Yeah? Maybe? Nah, I'm just playing. Let's get into the video though. So our first tip off is about Shadow Bayleaf, which is one of the three starters we had to choose from at the beginning of the game. To get information on this we have to beat Kale, but this is going to be easy because we wrecked Kale before. Why is this Pokemon as strong as Nascor and Evises? Why is this Gardevoir wrecking me? Well, that one's kind of obvious, but yeah, that's the gist of the after game. Is the level spike is insane, especially at first when we're still kind of under leveled. With the help of Kale knocking a few of his own Pokemon out himself though, we're able to prevail through this first battle, and then we get told about the old Team Snag'em base and how it's been kind of a gathering hub for a lot of really strong trainers around the Ori region. Now, I thought this was really cool, and I personally think they could have incorporated this into the main story somehow, but this playthrough I realized something. As we're clearing through this place, I noticed two things. One, if you step here, you will fight a trainer every single time. Like, I think there's 6 total encounters in this specific spot right here. Two, these trainers' names were familiar, especially after I rematched this familiar face, and with a little bit of research I found out that these are all the Shadow Pokemon trainers, which means if you KO'd one or missed one somehow through the playthrough, you can catch them here, which is really cool. Also, can we take a second and talk about how me beating Scrub ruined his career? 1, your name is Scrub. 2, I beat all of your bosses, some of them multiple times. Why are you the one being punished? Anyway, look, it's where we all began. We cleared this place out for XP because I feel like we were going to need every little bit, and we finally come across the man we've been looking for. Now the challenge with this is the Shadow Pokemon are really weak, so we can't rely on anything but chucking balls and maybe yawning with Quagsire. It does put the trainers in a 2v1 situation though, that I never took advantage of. Net from the Under has the next lead for a Shadow Pokemon. He says go speak to a man named Gurks. Now, who's Gurks? Well, Gurks is a legend of some sort. Gurks is a lot like us in a way. Gurks is THE legendary Whale Lord trainer, coming at you with not just one, but 2 Whale Lords for double the hydration. Truly magnificent. He even gave us a drink of water. What a nice guy. So all he tells us is that Rosso, the red brother of the trio, has the Quilava, which is not that useful. We run around for a bit and then we get a text saying that the trainers are gathering over at the Shadow Pokemon Lab again. And when will these people learn that water covers 71% of the earth and I cover the rest? And there's no hiding from me and my undying will to hydrate all of Ori region. Back to the lab minus the annoying siren, and yet again there's a bunch of trainers here who previously owned Shadow Pokemon, so another chance to catch them if need be. But we're pretty good about not KOing Shadow Pokemon. We don't talk about that. But look, this girl remembers us and the annoying siren. Now down to where Ian was and we find Rosso, and it looks like he's trying to recover some data about Shadow Pokemon. Interesting. Anyway, he has Quilava, we snag it, we wreck him, and properly hydrate him. We get a few texts. One of them is a picture of a Shroomish. I hope you enjoy. Another is talking about a possible new snag machine that Team Snag'em has been working on. And lastly, that the Shadow Smeargle and Ursaring are somewhere in the hideout. Also, this area is still a trap. So we come over here and we see a Snag'em member and a glimpse of the new snag machine. And wait, Snag'em member Biden? Joe? Is that you? We almost KO'd the Smeargle, but we got it, no worries. A little farther down is another Snag'em member with the Ursaring. We caught this one a little bit easier. And Look at this piece of crap they're trying to use as a snag machine. What are they gonna do? Roll it over Ori region and be like, hey, challenge me to a battle. Don't mind this big machine loaded with Pokeballs or anything. Anyway, we got one last thing to do, and that's go see an old friend. Now, just like Gonzab, it looks like the rest of his team's been hitting the gym because we're dealing with Pokemon in the mid-60s. Now, I'm not too worried about Crawdaunt, but I don't like Machamp, so we're going to focus on that. But then Crawdaunt used Swords Dance and Machamp Hyper Beam me, which is actually kind of good, not for Propel, but in the sense I can play around the turn he has to recharge. We switch in the spring and begin chipping Crawdaunt while setting up a Rain Dance. Crawdaunt Hyper Beams us, but forgets Fiji is a champ and tanked it. At this point, everything is ready for us to begin our bread and butter combo of Surf spamming. He brings in Armaldo, which gets properly hydrated right on the switch in. Now, he heals Crawdaunt and buffs Armaldo. I don't know why he thought Armaldo was living this turn, but anyway, he's down. Out comes one of my personal favorites, Breloom. We finish off the Crawdaunt, and then he goes into Gramble. Fiji gets beamed again and finally goes down, so we go into Aqua and then knock down the Gramble the next turn. He goes into our new Bane of Existence, Gyarados. We'll get into that later. He buffs, but we take out Breloom, making it a 1v4, and after losing Aqua and Dasani, we finally chip it down enough to win against our old boss. He tells us he'll come back stronger than ever and leaves for now. But on his desk, we get the D-Disc. So on our way to use this new disc, we get a text about a colorful character talking about a new Colosseum. And what do you know? It's our idol, Mr. Meyer B himself. Let's go! He's back. And when you know it, we got ourselves one last Colosseum. And guys, this is the hardest one yet. The Pokemon here start at 60, so we're going to get a ton of experience. Now, the gist of this Colosseum is that we get the rebattle against some of the most dangerous foes we have met on our adventure. But there is a singular, mysterious foe in the deepest part of this Colosseum. We have 19 total battles to win. Yep, this Colosseum has 5 total rounds of content instead of the typical 4. And at the end of each round is one of our old friends. First up, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Meyer B. And yes, it does play his music this time, thank goodness. So he starts out the same way we have for the last 3 battles, but he uses X items, which gives us a chance to set up and sludge bomb one of the Ludicolo. We take out the first of 3 next turn, and the other one sets up a Rain Dance. And I think I was scared of an Earthquake or something because I switched to Fiji, which was a mistake because Ludicolo really set up a lot of sustain here. Good thing he's poised. He full restored, of course. Well, time to redo our poison and take out Exploud. Out comes the last Ludicolo, and with Fiji feigning, I figured it'd be a good time to go back to Propel and get the dynamic duo back in place. We trade blows and knock one of Ludicolo, but we lose Propel. But thanks to the poison, we KO the other one and are left with just Armaldo. And we both know how this ends, with a Surf Bubble Beam Hydration combo, and that's Meyer B down. Now, good old Bacon has really had my number this series, and he has it here. I royally messed up and switched out of this first turn because I feared the Soul Rock explosion, when I should have just took the turn and nuke it. Doing this set me behind all battle because I need Fiji to counter Sunny Days, and I ended up whiting out the first time, so when I came back for attempt number 2, I had a more gun-ho strategy. We go all in on Soul Rock and blast him turn 1. Turn 2, Flygon comes out, my full effort is on him, which was good because we got the good old Earthquake Protect combo starring Flygon. We tank that and absolutely demolish him, looking a lot better than last time. So this turn I was targeting Swampert. Claydar charges for a Solar Beam and Swampert takes out Aqua. So I switch into Dasani and take out Claydol now, which would leave us with Houndoom, but our friend Swampert kindly took care of that for us at the cost of Fiji, but I'll take it. Next turn, we quickly took care of Swampert and defeated our rival Bacon for the last time. So Venus was actually the admin I was least looking forward to, and for good reason. This battle took forever. We went in prepping for Raichu, but we get Meganian. So we switch out and set up, and we almost get Meganian down, but she full restored. And this is where we started getting overrun by status effects. Giovani literally did not do anything for 3 turns. I didn't want to switch either because I couldn't risk a Giga Drain healing all of Meganian's health. So I sacrificed Propel, and I sent in Fiji and hit her with a beam, and finally Giovani did something and KO'd Meganian. And comes out Raichu, our biggest fear. We tactically switch into Voss, tank the Thunderbolt. Unfortunately, we lose Fiji next turn, but we Earthquake nuke the Raichu, and out comes Blissey, which really isn't a threat, just more of an annoyance than anything. We dispose of it quickly, and shortly after, Dusclops finally falls, and we're left with Milotic, which are usually really deadly, but against a team of waters, it loses a lot of its threat, and shortly it falls, and we got one more admin to go. So, I was a dummy and didn't record the intro to this fight, but all you guys missed was them using Rain Dance twice and me switching to Voss so we could Earthquake the Manectric, because I deem it to be the biggest threat. And luckily, Quick Claw went off, and he made the grave error of switching in the Rhydon because we have a Bubble Beam locked and loaded right to his way. Poor guy. Out comes Gyarados, and this guy's an issue because we're stuck in a spot where we really can't do anything. After a few turns, Aqua falls, and I go into Giovani because my plan is to Toxic stall this Gyarados. Voss falls, and we go into Spring. We get the Toxic off, and now it's time to Bite Spam with a side of Confuse Ray. We start working on the Mantine while our 2 powerhouses hit each other, and weirdly enough, he uses an X item, which is fine because the poison takes out Gyarados, and out comes Crobat, one of my favorites. We begin chipping the Crobat, but he gives us a taste of our own medicine, but I assure you guys, slowly but surely we take them out and defeat our last Cipher member. It's time for the big man, Mr. Deep King himself. And our first attempt didn't go well. Between crits, being unprepared, being in love, we ended up just getting swept, and it did not stop there. This man sent me hate mail? Bro, what? Oh my god. Now it's personal. After the first few turns of just switching in and out, we set up a Rain Dance and then tank this Thunderbolt like a champ, which is huge because we brick break the light screen that got set up directly after, which could have ruined this attempt for us. Next turn, we get so lucky with Girafarig hurting itself, we were able to bite the Shedinja and take it out. He goes into Kingdra and takes out Spring, but we were able to take out Girafarig the same turn, and out comes Skarmory. Shortly after, we lose Fiji and go set up a Yawn, but he switches out of it, unfortunate. But we get a lucky freeze on Skarmory. But this kind of screwed us because Yawn failed, and then he immediately defrosted. So that was pretty depressing. We get our get back though and get a meaningful crit on Skarmory to drag Kingdra back out, and this time we get a Toxic off, which is huge because that crit got returned to us and Giovani went down right after, which is bad because we were set to Earthquake with Propel coming out, but he tanks it like a champ. Down goes Sableye, and come on out Mr. Shuckle. Now, Propel is basically dead in the water here no matter what I do, so I use his turn to throw a Netball while I Earthquake with Voss. And it's massive because we actually get the catch. And another huge thing is Earthquake went through the Attract, and honestly, if either of these things don't happen, I think I lose this fight. Poison does its thing, and we defeated the Deep Colosseum and collected our Shadow Shuckle. Now, to do the final post-game thing, we need to capture the rest of the Shadow Pokemon. So it's time to go pay a visit to a dear friend at the mayor's house. You can find Trudley and Folly in rematch for that Makuhita that somehow died before our challenge started and definitely didn't count as a KO during the challenge. This one was easy enough. Secondly, we have to go rematch Mr. Evis and capture Tyranitar. Now, we should be somewhat afraid of this, but Evis's team stays the same strength as it was before we beat the game. And as far as I'm concerned, Kale had a team almost comparable in strength to his, and now we're 10 levels higher than we were last time we fought him, so I'm pretty confident. And I was right. We steamed through Naskur, and I'm not even going to show him getting swept to his no battle music having ass. Now it's time for the Mr. Jolly Tub of Fun himself. We start this battle off with a Confuse Ray Ray Dance combo, and guys, look at this damage. That's adorable. Next turn we nuke the Scizor and he KOs himself, and at this point I knew revenge was gonna be so sweet. Out comes Salamence, and just as quick as he got sent out, he got brought right back in. However, we do lose Dasani. I bring out Propel just to mostly chunk down that Slowking. We take out Machamp, but we lose Propel and bring out Spring to go against her Slacking. Now, crazy thing is, he actually gets off a skill swap, which used to end me right then and there, but this guy uses X items while his Pokemon are weak after this move? Yeah, I don't know. I'm cool with it though. Out comes Tyranitar. We dispose of the Slowking and start chucking balls, and guys, yes, I got to the point where I was just using items to heal. I know my rules say I don't heal, but 1, I beat this guy already. 2, we're here for one reason, and that's to get to a Pokemon trainer that isn't a complete pushover. JK, this guy still terrifies me. Anyway, we catch a Tyranitar, and at this point, we have 47 of the 48 Pokemon. But who's the last? So, I'm cruising around, enjoying life, and this guy texts me claiming I attacked him? So we pull up on him and try to prove our innocence, but he's just mad and he goes back to running, so it is what it is, I guess. Back to cruising, we get a pick, and this pick must be Photoshop because it's us with the last Shadow Pokemon Togetic attacking Dash. Like, what? We get a tip to go watch TV, so we go into this random old lady's house and watch her TV showing yet again the Shadow Togetic. Moments later, we get told to watch TV again, so back to our old lady's house and we see a live video of the Togetic fighting our buddy Willie from Outskirts. Let's go. So we pull up and look, we're on TV, and look, it's us, and look, now we're battling us, and look, us just wrecked us. Yeah, Gyarados is a menace. Going into the second attempt, the idea was to sleep the Gyarados and then nuke him with Aqua and Propel. And it was all going well until he woke up the second turn he was sleeping and critted Aqua. So I kind of assumed this attempt was botched, so I just started chucking balls at Togetic, and it worked decently early, which was actually huge, because on top of toxicking the Gyarados, he had a fat juicy Earthquake from Manectric right on the switch in. Now comes in Houndoom, and after 2 turns he's taken out, and the Gyarados has just been hitting himself and whittling down the poison, and he decides to roar me? Yeah, the AI in this game is pretty wonky sometimes. We KO him next turn and are left with Milotic and Armaldo, and I've proven time and time again that Armaldos are no threat. Except when he hangs on and nearly Rock Blasts us. Yeah, we got pretty lucky there. Next turn we drop him, and after a few turns we end the final battle the best way possible, with a fat Surf to hydrate our foe. So I actually lied. There is one more thing we need to do. But to wrap this series up, I want to take this to live commentary as we do a battle that we've been waiting to do for a very, very long time. Hello guys, it's Ricky from yesterday by the time this is up. We have one more battle to do, one more person to hydrate, some revenge to exact. You remember this guy? This double teaming son of a gun? Yep, this is how I want to end the series. More or less, I want to use this time to just talk about the series, talk about future plans, all that good stuff. So, first off, this series has been amazing, honestly. Pokemon Colosseum is, if it's not my favorite Pokemon game, it's in the top 3 without a doubt. Coming back, just doing this run, I thought this run was going to be, honestly, a lot harder than it was. I learned that 1 water types are overpowered. Oh, I did. I didn't heal. Oh no. Oh god. Okay, whatever. It's not a big deal. I realized that water types are really overpowered. Really overpowered. And 2, this team comp honestly is very well. Like, it covers its weaknesses really well. And it actually, the water only team is, in my opinion, a somewhat viable team to play this game with, which is amazing because I view this as the hardest Pokemon game right now. Like, if I had all of them in a list, I may be able to pick out one or two more that is a little bit harder. But this is without a doubt the hardest, if not one of the hardest Pokemon games. And to do it with a mono-only run, I think was honestly, it's a pretty cool accomplishment, but it was just a lot of fun. Um, I'm scarred for life. Whenever I look at a water bottle, I imagine the Pokemon. Like, I work in a grocery store, and the other day I saw an Aquafina, a Dasani, and like spring like water cases, and I was just like, oh, that's Feraligatr, that's Octillery, and that's a Mantine, and I'm like, oh wow, I really just screwed myself for the rest of my life. But it's fine because I enjoyed this series. And I definitely want to make more Pokemon Challenge runs. I definitely want to come back to Pokemon Colosseum. I will say that it's not going to happen in the near future. I have a couple of other plans right now. I'm working on Zelda right now, and I'm working on prepping for my next big series, which is huge. But I would say within the next couple of months, you can expect another Pokemon Challenge run. And I would say expect Pokemon content. Not in a main series walkthrough, but there definitely will be Pokemon content on the way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, one of my favorite games. I got to use some of my favorite Pokemon. I got to appreciate a lot of Pokemon. Like, Mantine is amazing. Octillery is really cool, and I really didn't even get to use it to its full potential in this playthrough. Qwilfish, it was probably the weakest member of the team, but it served its purpose. It actually really had a couple of highlights in this series and really saved this team at some points and really established dominance in a lot of battles. And I got to use a legendary for like the first time since I was 13, which is crazy. And it's really good. But I think on that note, it's a perfect way. Oh, I think that's double team. Oh, it's return. Okay. Oh, we don't care about. Actually, I probably could have taught that to Propel, and that could have been really useful for the series. Anyway, that's it for this series. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys stay hydrated, and I will see y'all next time for more content, more challenge runs, more fails, and of course, the utmost amount of hydration. Also, I completely forgot to talk about this, Mount Battle. I didn't plan on doing Mount Battle. If you guys really want to see Mount Battle, I'll do Mount Battle. Hell, I'll even live stream Mount Battle. So if y'all want to see that, let me know, because I wouldn't mind doing it. I'm going to admit the first like 70 battles is just going to be me spamming Surf. But those last 30 battles will be absolutely majestic. So if you want to see that, let me know. Alright guys, peace.